Good day, folks. I think I'm back again. That was a severe psychological meltdown back on Canada Day, July the 4th. 6 weeks in the hospital and a few weeks to recover after that. But I don't complain about my health issues because, well, there's nothing you guys can do about it. I just plod along and do what I can. But there's only so much pain and seizures and IBS and whatever all else a guy can put up with before he snaps. And if you've been watching the videos all the way through, you probably could have noticed that I've been getting less and less done as the years went by, so it was getting worse and worse. This last stint in the hospital, I am pretty confident now I know what the problem is, so I can address the issue from a different angle. So hopefully I'm back and healthy enough to do what I want to do here. But for right now, we're just going to walk around the garden. I've been absent, like I said, so everything is a mess. I'm going to show you what is and what I have to do with it. This grapevine, okay, so there's two grapevines there, as I said many times. It's well growing over. I was looking on Pinterest the other day. I have a beautiful idea for a harbor to go here. But look at how far it's growing all over. This is vastly, it needs to be cut back. Now the good thing about grapevines, of course, is that you can cut them right back to a stump and they'll grow again. So it doesn't matter that they're overgrown like this. I just cut them back to a stump and then I'll have 1 year where I won't have grapes, that's all. I don't remember this Liatris, I think it is, having a flower in October before, but it has one flower now. Despite not being watered the entire summer, the tomatoes actually grew quite well. And this is a Amish paste. I was giving a Amish paste summer before and I sowed the seeds. Now I have all the ripe ones picked. That's why there's only green ones here now. Well, here's one down here that it's in bad condition. I've left that there for the bugs actually because it was so bad. Now a lot of the ones that I did get, they were cracked, but they were quite edible because, like I say, not watering them, and then the rains, you get a period where it's dry and then a period where you get rain, and tomato split then. It's a beautiful tomato, and boy are they tasty. So that was the Amish paste, and this, I don't remember now what the name of this one is. But as I said, for tomatoes that were just shoved in the ground back in the middle of June and then left, they done pretty good. I had a 3 or 4 already picked with this one. It's a fairly big tomato, you see. So when I came back from the hospital and I came out and I checked on these, I was quite impressed actually. Snowball bush, the second set of leaves that came out, remember there's a bug that comes and eats them, but the second set seemed to have done very well. It's, like I said in other videos, it's getting better every year, this tree is now. And it's only a matter of me continuing to mulch it. Supposed to be a ball of flowers, but it's only one little flower. So, like I say, continuing to mulch it, I can put kelp around the base and then put a few wood chips on top or something like that, and every year, and it'll get better every year. I didn't clean out this bed in the spring, just this little corner here, and I have some amaranth that is growing up among the tomatoes. And once again, despite not getting watered all summer, and the summer being fairly dry. October the 4th, and I've got flowers on tomato plants in Newfoundland, Canada. Yeah, no such thing as climate change, you know. Nope, nope. When I was a child, there'd be no way you could grow tomatoes outside. You'd have to have them in a greenhouse. You just poke away at it, like I was saying, trying to have a perfect garden. Well, I'm not going to be able to have a perfect garden anyway, but I can poke away at it and be brains of the ecosystem. And that was my plan anyway. I didn't plan to have a perfect garden like a greater percentage of people have. I wanted something that would just melt back into the surrounding landscape. And as one person put it one time, you have a forest garden that's disguised as a forest. This is one of the oreganos, I guess. Coneflower, echinacea. They're doing just beautiful. This side is always drier, and it's got some grapes. They're just little tiny things though, eh? So I don't know if this will get better after time. This is a Valiant grape. But you check this one. It's got quite a few grapes on it. And they're tasty. It's a red maple. It'll turn blood red here now in a week or so. St. John's wort is still growing. And we haven't been having all that much rain, but things are growing like crazy, the wild plants, I mean. So I am quite happy with that. And I'll keep plugging along, like I say, and be a part of nature. Romeo cherry doesn't look like this was at any point during the summer out in full bloom. So this is all I get out of the smoke bush blooms. It's a nice bronze colored bush, but that's what I do have. I don't have that smoky, the flower bunches that looks like puffs of smoke all over it. I don't get that. Juliet. That's one of the pears. I have a black spot fungus. It's on the red maple too, eh? I'm not going to fight with it because I don't think it's something that will kill the tree. It just puts black spots on the leaves, that's all. Calendula plants grew pretty good. And the strawberries that were here, I did get a few really nice strawberries out of them, like just a couple of handfuls type deal, right? Growing here. And I don't remember what that one is. Okay, we'll figure it out in time. And it's one thing I gotta do too, is I have to make some long-lasting signs that I can put down by all the plants that I want to remember the names of, because I don't remember names. I didn't do anything with that bed this year. See, if I could have this pond sitting like this year round, it would be so nice. Currently, when it's dry, then it still seeps away enough down there, so I have to work on that and keep it from draining out. And hopefully I can get it so that it stays like that all year, but that we'll have to wait and see. There's food down there. This is Jerusalem artichoke. Plants grew, didn't flower. If I put this on 0.6 wider angle, it'll make it easier for me, I think. But yeah, this is the Jerusalem artichoke patch. And that's where my temperature reader is for when I do the main garden temperature records. That's right there. Some of the branches on this bush here, so this is a apple tree, but I cut it down because it never did produce a flower. And some of the branches now are getting big enough because apple wood is a really hard wood, eh? So like this branch here, I can cut this one, dry it out, and use it for wood crafts. That's basically what I would be doing with that type of bush. There was a plum on this. 2 or 3, in fact. But when I come back and I searched the whole thing over, there was no sign of a plum. So I guess it, like this was the first year it had plums, so maybe it just shed those plums and that's it. I wasn't going to get any maybe this year. And maybe next year I will get my first plums off those trees. And of course this one here, it didn't have anything, but maybe next year we'll see. In here somewhere, there's a red maple, and I think it was growing fine. Oh, that's it right there. Doesn't have any leaves on it, see that? Oh, it did have leaves on it, but I don't know if that's going to survive or not. So I have this one, the cherry tree here, eh? And that one there. And I'm thinking to myself, I really don't want an overabundance of cherry trees, so maybe I shouldn't be spitting pits around everywhere or throwing the pits from the ones that I've taken inside in the compost. So I'm going to avoid doing that. It doesn't seem to have taken to the summer very well. It started out pretty good back in the spring, but it's looking pretty scraggly. That's a gooseberry, Pixwell gooseberry there. As for the seaberry, I was looking these over, and okay, where's the... See, here's the little flower bud things that you look at to tell whether they're male or female. And as you can see, there's several lobes to each bud on this. So this is definitely a male. All of these little ones, it looks like there's several lobes on them, on the flower buds. It's just this one over here, I think, might be a female with the buds. Let's see if I can do something about this. With the buds having 2 little lobes. So this might be a female, but it seems like the rest are males. So I went over to a local gardener. She's got several males and females just to see what hers looked like, and she was saying that the males are the harder ones to grow, and I'm like, well, it seems like that's all I can get to grow is males. It's first sucker from this big one, eh? So this is definitely a male as well. The black gooseberry that I have, they produce very well. I can't say I'm overly fond of the taste of these. But for the sake of having a variety of berries, they're good enough. The gimbal didn't have any power in it. I got that plugged in, so I'm going around with the phone handheld. That's why the quality is so crappy. The rhubarb that was here, so this was the original rhubarb patch, and I remember I dug it all up and I separated it out and I put this back and I said, now we got a beautiful rhubarb patch. Well, the rhubarb is not coming back very well at all, and right now we've only got like the one live branch here. Buttercup, well, that, as you can see, comes back like mad. Just, I guess the buttercup just choked everything out. But I put these over here. They seem to be doing just fine. So I got 2 plants there, 2 and 3 plants here. So I've got rhubarb, so I'm thinking I just dig up that one bed over there and turn it into, use it for other things. Those are the blueberries. I think they'll do fine. I got a couple blueberries off them this year, but you wouldn't expect to get very many into that size. I'm expecting those blueberry plants to do just fine though. I think the potatoes would have grown well if I was here to water them, but because I wasn't here, well, it's just some places it all grew up into weeds, and other places, when I take them up, there's quite a few potatoes down there, but they're just little tiny things. So, I mean, for a few, you just scrub them and cook them like that, and it's nice. But every time you want a potato and you're peeling these little tiny things, like, forget it. I'll take them up and I'll keep them for seed for next year. But this, last year, I took some dill seed and I just threw it around the garden here and there, because I think I said when I did it, like, you're going to be weeding anyway, so what difference would it do? You might as well be weeding out dill as anything else. And in keeping with trying to make it a garden disguised as a natural ecosystem, then I've got now dill plants growing up all over, and if I was here taking care of it, I wouldn't have let as many grow. But as you can see, there's quite a few all over the garden. I think there's a fairly good harvest of carrots to be had here. I don't know what's in this bed. The beans, so that's the black turtle beans there, they seem to have done well. And Jacob's cattle over there. See, this is what the rutabaga did. And I've just got little tiny things, because they needed some serious watering. You could sprinkle carrot seeds around in the fall and see what comes up next spring if you wanted to. So I might do that this fall too, and see what carrot weeds I have when I go through this garden and prepare it next year. This bed done fairly well, actually. So this is all chamomile here. Produced fairly well. Of course, there's quite a few weeds there, but mostly chamomile. I have some Aunt, Aunt Molly's ground cherry. Now, I can't remember back in the spring, did I plant them here? But they're all over the bed, so it has to be coming up as a weed. And there's fruit on them. As of yet, I didn't get one that had fallen, so these Aunt Molly's ground cherry, another thing that we couldn't get to grow here in Newfoundland, grew up from seed and has gone all the way to fruit in one summer. And here's one of the tomato weeds that I had. That grew up from seed from the ground here. So as the climate changes, well, I guess I'll follow it along and grow what can be grown new. If I can grow something like this, like the Aunt Molly's ground cherry, they're so tasty. If I can get them growing well, then that'll be awesome, right? Not awesome that it gets stinking hot here in the summer, but we got to deal with what we have. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I have bug eaten on them, but it's a small cabbage, but it's nice and firm. I would say I could probably get enough cabbage here to make something out of. I have some small yellow, supposed to be crookneck here, or is it straight neck? Can't remember. Squash there. See, here's a nice tomato, and that one's getting, oh dear. I guess he's got to go in the house now. And I have some small squash. They're not quite ripe yet. These are winter squash. So there's one here. And look what I just noticed. That's a rutabaga down there. It's actually big enough to be called an harvest. It's got another squash here. Just small ones, but it is an harvest just the same. Black Fishkill pumpkin, that's what it is. What did we get and didn't get here? Oh, that's that purple cauliflower. See, there's a little one growing. So I'm not going to get anything worth talking about, but, I mean, I wasn't here and not watering it, etc., etc. The plants did all right. Onions are still alive. Still standing up, so I'm leaving them there. Some of them, of the white ones, have flopped over. See this one? And I'm taking up an onion here and there as I need them. Slugs likes, well, I wouldn't say slugs like onions, but they will eat on them. Especially if they're sweeter ones. Those white ones are rather sweet. And so I've got a harvest of onions. Fairly good harvest, actually, for nobody being here to take care of them. But as you go over it further this way, then in this bed, they're little tiny things. Once again, I mean, I've been saying that you go over there and the water table is up closer and it gets drier and drier as it goes across. So I assume that's why I just got tiny onions here. Quite a mess of a patch here. Got a lot of work to do, but you might recall that I've been trying to get at this for 2 or 3 years, and I just I didn't have the health to do it. So hopefully now that I actually have confirmed what the issue is, then I can be more out and about. But check this apple tree. He does get those black spots on the skins, but man, there's a lot of apples on there. The pity of it is that the only way I like apples processed is apple juice. So I'll come along, and when they're getting ripe, I've got a month or two actually of I can have a fresh apple whenever I want. But then other than that, I process a lot into apple juice, and there's only so much processing a guy can do, and I've got an awful lot of apples. This tree here, it doesn't look like a normal, like a wild cherry tree to me. So it makes me curious every time. Like, the leaves seem to be too large and uniform for it to be just your regular wild cherry. I just had to wait and see. There's an interesting thing I want to show you here. How far up do we have to go to see it? It's up right here. Oregano is not an invasive, but seeds will get around and they'll grow. So if you have these plants and you let them go to flower, you will eventually get oregano plants popping up here and there. They won't choke out the native plants. It's what they call naturalizing. They'll just grow in among everything else that's growing. Once again, you go back to you got a garden disguised as a forest. You're just trying to make a landscape that has a lot of plants that's beneficial to a human. And then I just become the brains of what looks like a natural ecosystem, even though it's not. This is a disappointment because this tree is 20 years old, and as far as I know, it's never produced a flower. It's a damson, and it's just a one, like, see over here you got suckers, and it was taken from a producing grove of damson trees and planted there, just a sucker. So it's not like it's different genetics or anything. So I don't know why it doesn't produce here. There's a couple others that survived, but it grew, it's sending up suckers, and it's survived there for 20 years, but never produced a damson. So as we go, if you go back to my earlier videos, I'm sure you'll see when this was just a meadow of wildflowers. Back in 2018 or 2019 something, I'm sure you'll find a video where this was just all wildflowers over here. And now it's a forest. Which makes me happy. And I just wander through. You see that? That's an apple tree. Now, I planted that there, if that is the one. I planted it there many, many years ago, and it just sat there, and it produced leaves every year, but didn't grow. And now look at it, it's starting to grow after sitting there for, like, Dad was alive it was long before Dad died that I planted this tree here. And now it's starting to grow. And that looks like another one there. The apple tree here. Looks like some beautiful apples on that. So this is all newly cut over because I cut all the trees out of it that were dying. It is growing up pretty fast. And it'll be only a couple of years and it'll be a forest there again. There's blueberry bushes here, which I don't remember what they were like because I didn't get a chance to pick the blueberries this year. But they produce fairly well, and if we get a decent year next year, we'll all get quite a few blueberries off of this. Blueberries is something I can go through a lot of as well. So that's nice. Cherry trees seem to grow like crazy. That pine there, I think I bumped into it with the quad and killed it, which is a pity. The cherry trees are growing very fast. They're up pretty much as tall as me now. So I had to get the tools out. And back right there, what we just went through, is pretty much done. I won't be running the quad there. As you can see, there's a couple of chunks of wood here. And as we go up this way, there's more. So I have to get a pathway cleared in so that I can get in here with the quad and trailer and pick up the wood and continue to harvest wood going back through. But as all the wood gets harvested in one area, then the path that I had for the quad would just turn into, I'll just let it grow up and I'll have open pathways that I can walk through the forest. But there won't be anything of significance. But as you can see, this is wood that I cut down last year. So I have quite a few chunks of wood I have to get in and clear out and clear out through here to make a path for the quad. And it goes over, I think it goes down around that way, and there's an opening over there where I can get out on the cabin road and then go back around to the house. So I got the road in here, and then we'll start to collect firewood from this area here, right? But I'm not going to push it. I've been covering up symptoms with pills and just pushing through, and I just make it worse for myself. So when the body says lay down, I've got to lay down. The brain, of course, is always saying get up and go. Back in 2003, I think it was, one guy, he said to me, he said, you like the guy who was out getting firewood with his son, and his son was wanting to take a break. So after a while, the father says, okay, we can take a break now, and while we're at it, we can bring some of this wood to the truck. And I was like, yeah, that's me. But it came to the point where I physically can't do that, even though the brain is telling me to. I think I have to put a pathway out through here. Once again, I'll apologize for the poor camera angles and that, because I don't have the gimbal. The gimbal doesn't have any power, so it's getting charged. And this is all handheld stuff. I think I'm going to put a pathway out through here to get the quad in. Go through right there. I have to get this spruce down before it blows down in the neighbor's yard. Because as you see, the branches are all on the one side. So if we get a strong wind the wrong way, it could end up over in Wayne's yard. But we do have something really nice up here. Locust is one of those trees that the sawmills are really not that fond of cutting because it dulls their equipment so fast. But this thing is growing excellent. I have a beautiful black locust tree growing here. That one over there, let's go over a little closer. That one. Okay, so that's the one that the moose had eaten back. So that's why it's still small, but it survived and it seemed to be coming back quite well there now. Here's another one that the moose had eaten back, but it survived and the moose hasn't been back this year. So once they get growing, then the moose is not going to be able to really do much damage to it. I mean, it'll come along and nip off a few leaves on the outside, but it's not really going to damage the tree very much once it gets growing. This one didn't grow as good as the first one that I showed you, but it's growing really nicely as well. There is some partridge berries growing. You see, that's usually how they come in little bunches of 3 or 4 like that. But in a good year, there will be a lot of bunches. And if I went through this, I'd get an harvest of partridge berries. But there's nothing to be excited about. Those partridge berry plants, they're all out through here, down both sides, and over there's a whole bunch. See, you see how many there are here? So you can imagine if you had like a 10 meter by 10 meter plot of just covered in these, then you'd have quite a few partridge berries. I have some trees to plant up here. I'm going to plant them out very soon. I do have some red mulberry that are struggling, so I don't know what'll become of them. This thing here, it's still growing in the shade. That's the hardest native tree or bush, whatever you want to call it, kind of in between a tree and a bush actually, in North America. It's Osage orange. So it's in among. This is a halter which I'll cut down anyway. So as soon as I cut that down, then that Osage orange will have more light. There is a couple more here somewhere to growing. They're not growing very fast at all. So I don't know how well they'll do yet, but they're alive. And if we were to searching among here, we'd find a couple more of them. But I'm not going to bother right now. Now see, the red maple, not red maple, red mulberry that I put over here, it's coming along, not what you would say beautifully, but it's growing. And there's a few of them all along here. There's another one there. And this place is just growing up like crazy as well, right? Now, where are we? That one was leaved out this year. It's mulberry, and they lose the leaves a little earlier, I think, than the other trees. I had a couple of trees out here, and I'm wondering if it's, did I put a red mulberry there, or is it one of those Russian mulberries that I had planted before? But I keep planting trees out, and what takes, what don't. And if one seems like it wants to grow, then I'll keep the other trees around it down and let the tree I want to grow, right? That's what I mean by being brains of the ecosystem. You walk through it and decide on what plants you want to let grow. And you're not eliminating the natural ecosystem. It's just that you planted one there, so you'll keep the like the alders and the aspen down, so that one tree can grow right there. See, I just love just out wandering through the forest like this. The forest is my favorite ecosystem, and as long as I could remember, back 5 years old, I would just go out and I'd wander through the forest, and I'd lay down and I'd watch the bugs crawl over the ground, and I'd inspect all the plants. And when I came across Bill Mollison's thing on Food Forest, I was like 13 or something, and I'm like, I can grow a forest of food plants? That would be awesome. And I've wanted to do so ever since. And now, since I can't have a real job, I think I can keep my health enough that I can tend to a forest to kind of bring that vision into a reality. We just passed by a couple of red maple, and there's another one right there. So, not red maple, it's red mulberry. And who are you? I'm not sure what this guy is. I'll have to find out and let you know at a later date. That's a bush of unknown variety. I think I got a seed mixed in with some other seeds I had or something. Something happened anyway. No, that's an older cut, so the moose haven't been here chewing on it this year. So, yeah, that's a little walk about the garden. I'm back. Health was constantly going down and down. I could do less and less, but now that I'm the biologist in me says you can't give 100% confidence, so I'll give a 97% confidence that my issue is something ubiquitous in the commercial food system. And if I avoid the commercial food system as much as possible, I should be able to, all those, the pain, the seizures, the IBS, and that should be kept down enough that I can easily take care of this forest. So we're going to try again. Oh, I'm going to show you these two. I got a lot of rose hips, I never used rose hips before, but I've been thinking about it. I might come out and pick these and do something with them. So that's it. Yeah, like I say, we'll try again, and hopefully you'll enjoy the videos and come back for the next one. Goodbye.